Welcome to a special edition of the Cougar Beat podcast here on the KSL.com podcast network. The Cougar Beat podcast, all things BYU athletics, and this is a basketball edition sponsored by the good folks over at Coup Connect. It's a Provo-based name, image, and likeness collective that works with over 100 BYU athletes, sponsoring them and finding ways for them to monetize just that, their name, image, and likeness, their NIL. Over at coupconnect.com. Y'all can subscribe, $10 a month. Most of that money goes to the athletes. And I only say most because I think the executive director, Jake Brandon, one time bought a Coke on a shoot or something. So we can't say technically 100% anymore. But I promise most of it really does go to the athletes. And one of those athletes I'm really excited about, we're going to talk to for a few minutes, is Trevin Knell from the BYU men's basketball team, who is a guard/wing, a sharpshooter, one of the best high school three-point shooters I've ever covered in my entire career. And most importantly, he's also a model. So, Trevin, thanks so much for joining me on the podcast today.
I appreciate it, Sean. Thanks to you, and thanks to Coup Connect, and especially Jake for having me out here.
Yeah. And Jake Brandon is going to be tagging along for the ride with us a little bit. We may refer to him once or twice. Say hello to the people, Jake.
Hey guys, thanks for following the KSL stuff. They do awesome work with the podcast. We're super passionate about all the BYU athletes we represent, trying to get them the most they can out of their name, image, and likeness and everything. So appreciate you guys coming along with us.
Awesome. Yeah. The guys at Coup Connect, they do great work. Obviously very different from us, but we're really happy to work with them and to partner with them. And especially happy to work with them across multiple sports. Not just football, but basketball. There's some women's soccer players, some women's basketball players. We're working on some volleyball players even. I won't give too much away, Jake, I promise. But I'll just say We're working on it. We're working on it. So there's some things there. But maybe most importantly, I'm a college basketball guy. I love hoops. And so I got really excited the other day, Trev, when I noticed that BYU basketball is getting – I'm not going to go – all the way out and say a rebrand, but I am going to call it a refresh to these uniforms. You modeled them. So give me a little bit of a walkthrough. I'm watching the video right now, the unveiling video right now. Give me a little bit of a walkthrough of these new uniforms. You guys dropped the white ones officially. How fire are they?
Yeah, I think they are probably the best uniforms I've seen. I'm super excited for all the Cougar fans in Cougar Nation to see them out on the court come November. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. We just got the white ones, so Cougar Nation is going to have to wait just a little bit longer for the alternates and the away ones. But yeah, they're super nice. They're like you see in the video, it's all white with the royal blue kind of number and the name on the back, and like a little royal blue trim, and then the little off-white BYU in the front. So they feel really good. They fit really good. And it's just, like you said, it's a refresh for us.
Yeah, it's definitely very much a refresh. And I know I'm going to jump right into the controversy of it because there has been a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of consternation on Twitter, online, among Cougar Nation. There's been one issue with these uniforms. I've seen mostly positive reviews. Most people like them, Trev. The one issue has been you guys are going to BYU across his chest. No more Brigham. You're not spelling out the Brigham Young with the script and all of that. Was that a conscious decision that you know, or how do you feel about that? Are you okay with that?
I'm okay with it. It still represents Brigham Young. It's still BYU, just because it doesn't fully print out the whole name. I think that it's still who we are. The school still has its values, and I think it's just about moving forward. And there's some things that have been brought to light about the past, about some things that have been said or haven't been said. But I think it's just like what you said. It's just a refresh for everybody. Everybody's on board, and the teams. I feel like we are moving in the right direction to become that quote unquote best locker room in America, which I felt like we kind of lost last year. So sure. I feel like everybody's excited about this.
For sure. Well, let's move right there. I want to get your opinion about how some of the guys look in the uniforms, but let's jump in a little bit right there because I was going to ask you about this team moving forward. You guys open up full practices, 2-a-day practices start Monday. You can watch the opening day Monday on BYU TV. We'll give our friends over there a plug. because they always do great work. This is a really new roster for you guys, though, especially with the fact that you really didn't have that many seniors, only officially, I think, 3 seniors last year that you were supposed to lose, and yet 12 new faces on the roster. I believe it was 4 Division I transfers and another Division II transfer, a couple more freshmen, some return missionaries, obviously. A guy that you and I both know well from Northern Utah, Dallin Hall, former Fremont High star. What is it about this roster, and how are you guys kind of gelling to where you think you're building that kind of BLRA, that best locker room in America?
Well, like you said, we got a whole new roster. Like, understatement is like we only had 6 guys in the weight room in the gym practicing around May-ish. And we were like, hey, let's go play pickup. We're like, oh, what should we do? Play 3-on-3? like, what were we gonna do? But it's a lot of new faces, and we actually went up to a retreat up in Heber City as a team just to get away from everything. Kind of, we all put our phones away. There's no service up there, and we were able to just like gel, and we were able to talk about our biggest adversities in our lives, because everybody comes from a different background. And so just be able to listen to what other people have gone through, kind of what their insecurities are, it kind of helps us to know that, like, hey, this is a team. This is, this is our family. And so this is our inner circle for right now, and that you can trust each other. And so it's exciting. There's a lot of freshmen, even missionaries, that like those guys just all like to hang out with each other because they're actually watching Star Wars right now. So that might be the most BYU thing ever,
Nice.
just a couple of guys going to the gym to watch some Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
obviously they're all missionaries, so none of them are freshmen. A few of them are probably dating somebody, but they obviously don't have a wife like you do to hang out with. They're gonna watch Star Wars, right?
But yeah, it's exciting stuff, and we're actually changing kind of the way we've been. Like our characteristic of who BYU is, we kind of like last year we were really slow paced. Like we were in the bottom 300 in the teams, like percentage wise.
I think deliberate is the word that Coach Pope liked to use about it, but
exactly.
I like yours too.
Well, I'm a little more blunt. But yeah, so we are playing a lot more fast this year. We're having the ball move a little bit more instead of keeping one guy's hands. So it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
I love it. I love it. I really like hearing that. And it reminds me a little bit of I've covered Coach Pope for years and years, since the first time he was at BYU. And I covered his teams over at Utah Valley that were very fast.
Super fast.
Yeah, like extremely fast. Faster than I think anything that he's brought here to BYU. So that excites me a lot to maybe hear about him, maybe going back to his roots a little bit. And Coach Fennell also likes to play fast as well. So that obviously probably helps.
Coach Fennell is a great coach. Yep.
Yeah.
He's definitely helped us with it.
Bringing him in the gym. I mentioned some of the new guys and some of the transfers, and I'm not going to have you go through the long list of every single new guy on this team. We'd be here all night. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Most importantly, your wife doesn't want me to do that. So I will not be doing that. But I know about some of the personalities that are coming back. Obviously, you guys like Trey Stewart, Gideon George, Atiki Aliatiki, some of these names, Spencer Johnson, some of these names that we know a lot. But there's some college transfers. I'm thinking like Noah Waterman, Jackson Robinson, Rudy Williams, Traden Christensen out of Chaminade, who I think is a little bit underrated maybe as a transfer. Who's maybe one of the new guys on this team that has like the biggest personality? Somebody that like you walk into the gym and he's the guy who's just like jumping out of his skin for you.
I think it's hands down Rudy. Like Rudy, as soon as he's got the smile, he's super charismatic, and he comes in, he's a talker, and so he'll start talking to him, and he'll just start going off. And like if there's a camera, if you put a camera in front of him, like he's made for it, because he starts like it's like camera ready. Different personality comes in and he's ready to go. So for sure, Rudy's like that leader for us, and I'm super excited for guys in Cougar Nation to just see what he's about and what Jackson and Noah and even Traden's about. Because like you said, Traden's super underrated. I feel like a lot of people don't know how good he is. and he's super smooth. Like, he's probably one of our best passers on the team, and he's a big. So I think it's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, if you haven't, go look up Jaden Christensen. He's a local kid out of Eagle Mountain, I think, or Saratoga Springs.
Mm-hmm.
But he played last year at Chaminade, Division II Chaminade in Hawaii. Go look up some of his Chaminade highlights. He got up.
He jumps out of the gym, actually. He did a 360 between the legs dunk the other day. And we're just like, and it was like, yeah. He's like, I just wanted to try it. I'm like, a lot of people, they have to try a lot more than just once.
That's amazing. Let's go back to Rudy a little bit, because you were the model for the white uniform rollout of these new uniforms. You look good, but then your counterpart, Rudy Williams, goes on BYU TV after the rollout to kind of talk them up a little bit more, roll out the hype train. We're continuing that hype train. So choo. I love these uniforms. I think they're great. Hashtag rock and royal. Like, I'm all about the royal blue. So it's like, I'm all in favor of them. But Rudy probably got himself in a little bit of hot water with the coaching staff too, because he mentioned on BYU TV, you tease this as well as Instagram. So I'll throw you under the bus as well, Trev. But Rudy specifically mentioned on BYU TV that this isn't the last new uniform Cougar Nation's going to get. That you guys also have you've got a black one and a blue one. Is it a royal blue or a navy blue one? I'm not sure. Like, how much are you allowed to tell? And am I going to get you kicked off the team for revealing anything?
No, for sure. Cougar Nation is going to love these. So I'm going to just go out and say it that my favorite ones, the team doesn't know what they look like. Okay, so nobody knows. We just know what the colors.
So there are no formal spoilers here. Okay.
There's no formal spoilers, but the black ones, we're told, are the slickest, nicest ones that Cougar Nation is probably going to see. So we're all super pumped about those. We're also going to get some royal ones, and the navy, I think, is still coming back. So
okay. So four new uniforms. That would be a road, like a Homa road, kind of a normal alternate, and then probably like a special occasion alternate type. I'm really happy to hear that black is back too, because I feel like
black is back.
Yeah, I feel like last year's uniforms, the black ones were the best of the bunch. Those black uniforms were great. And so if you can take kind of some of the designs of this new white uniform and roll it into last year's black uniform, I'm on board. Again, choo. Let's roll up the hype train. Like, I'm not a fan of particular teams, but I am a fan of uniforms, and I'm a fan of these uniforms. I'll fully admit it.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who was maybe, Trev, and we'll just go one or two more questions here, then I'll get you back to your wife, I promise. But who was the most hyped in the gym when you guys saw these new uniforms?
So when we first saw him, so Trey was the other model for us. So Trey models for the team.
He's a good model too.
He is a good model.
Yeah,
we might start our own business, to be honest, after it's all said and done. But so when Trey rolled out, Trey was pretty hyped because he starts going crazy. We're all turned, our backs are away from us. We have no idea what's going on. We just hear Trey going crazy. And I think, I don't know, I feel like all the guys are pretty stoked. I feel like the guys that were here last year, because we experienced the old jerseys. And so I think we were the most hyped because we're like, oh my gosh, like we're so used to these other ones, and to put on these new ones, the fit of them and it's how they look. It's just, I think we were all super excited. So I think the veteran guys, as Coach likes to call them, I think we're all the most excited about them.
Yeah.
Let me jump in and ask a question real quick, Trevin. So you talk about the fit of them. It looks like they might be like lighter than your traditional one. And that as a guy who's, coached some other sports things, like kids like that. They like that light, free style. Talk to me about the material and the fit.
So the fit is definitely way lighter. And the shorts, so our last year's shorts, they had a huge cut up the leg. And it just kind of tugs on your legs a little too much. And so even the shorts are way lighter. and just how like they move with you is just so much better than last year's. And also just like we all felt like last year's kind of tugged a little bit too much in like your shooting motion or even just like your shoulders a little bit.
Sure. A little bit
so,
heavier.
Yeah. And so the cut of it is just a lot different too, where it feels a lot more comfortable and I feel like it's a lot more breathable. So yeah.
I should probably ask this of Trey Stewart because I know he likes to do this. I don't know. You don't do this quite as much, so maybe you're not the one to ask, but I'm going to ask you, are they rollable? Can you roll them up? I know Trey Stewart likes to run his shorts up like to his mid-thigh. I guess you've done that once or twice, but you're a little bit longer than some of your teammates. So can you still roll them up, though?
You can. So the thing that these have is it's like a wide badge on your belt line. And so if you roll it, you cover that. So it just depends on how you like it. And I'm super superstitious. So like if I roll them, if I miss a shot, I'm like, it's because I rolled them. Like that's why. That's how I'll unroll them. And then if it goes in, I'm like, that's a reason. And so it depends on the day if I roll them or not. But for sure, Trey likes to hike them so high that yeah, Trey's different.
Yeah, Trey's definitely a roller. I'll make sure to ask him that for sure next time. But I figured I'd get a little bit of your take on the shorts. Again, I like the shorts. I like that little belt, the kind of oval Y right on the belt loop. I like the BYU basketball logo that kind of replaces the old mountains on there on the shorts. Love that. Here's one thing that I am noticing, and I'm getting a lot of questions about this on Twitter, so I'll ask you as well because you've seen these up close and personal. So on the white uniforms, you've got royal numbers, and then they've got a trim, an outline on the royal numbers. Is that a black trim or a navy blue trim?
That's so funny. So many people have asked me this. It's actually a navy blue trim.
Oh, so good. Okay. So it's a little bit of like some Kalani Sitake coloring going in there.
Exactly. I was going to say that.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, that's awesome.
Hey, one more question for you, Trev. I can't remember if I was talking with you or Spence or maybe Jackson, but one of you guys mentioned that this last time around, you guys really got a lot of shooters from the transfer portal or coming to BYU for that. And I know you're like the shooting guy. Like that is your thing. You do the shooting workouts. Trey Stewart's told me you're the shooting guy, like the shooting expert. Talking about some of the shooters on our team, because that gets me pretty excited. If we're going fast, moving the ball around a lot, and we have shooters, that gets me really excited about the season.
Yeah, so everybody on the team can shoot it, first off. Like we have a really good shooting team this year. I think way better than previous years. And I really think moving the ball and playing fast is going to help us. But like guys like Jackson, he has crazy, ridiculous range to his game. And he shoots the same shot as he does a jump shot from 15 feet out as he does 25 feet out. Like it's really impressive. And then other guys have been just working super hard in the gym, getting their shots up. So everybody's getting, extremely better just at shooting and everything like that. So I'm super excited. Nobody can still beat me in a shooting contest. So don't worry about that.
I love it. And I would expect nothing less. I mean, the Woods Cross wonder himself, Trevin Knell, got to be leading this team in 3-point percentage, or we will riot outside of the Marriott Center. So
I will riot as well.
Yeah, there will be riots. So, Trevin, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast, talking about these fire uniforms. I cannot wait for basketball season. Two-a-days start Monday, so you go get your sleep. We won't keep you up any longer. October 26th, that's a Wednesday in the Marriott Center. That's the first look at this team. That's a blue-white game. And then the exhibition openers right around the corner, November 2nd against Ottawa. Games this year, man, such a great schedule. Games this year against San Diego State. You get them that return trip to Missouri State. You're going to the battle for Atlantis, USC, Tennessee, Butler, all teams there. Utah Valley, December 7th. I'm sure you guys are motivated for that one.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
That's right. We won't put too much
statement for us for sure.
And then December 17th against Utah, obviously always a big game, right? Love that one
sure.
as well. and then WCC play starts New Year's Eve for you. So, Trevin Knell from the BYU men's basketball team, thanks so much for joining us on the Cougar Beat podcast. Jake Brandon from Coug Connect, once again, making this happen here. Go to cougconnect.com. You can subscribe, $10 a month. Most of that money, almost all of it, but technically, legally, we have to say most of it, goes to the athletes. Great cause. That's how you can support guys like Trev and let them just go win games, get dubs, baby.
Hey, Sean, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Jake. Thank you guys for having me. And you know what, guys? October, when is it? October, is it? No, it's September 26th, 2-a-day start. So you guys can see a full practice on BYU TV. And so it's going to be super fun, guys. So it's going to be a great season.